Oh, I can't.
Snow in
Is
Maple.
it going to be really warm at the next event? It will be. Yeah, it'll be summer.
Hi, guys. Here we are, Monday night. We're back again, and we are now live. So if the other guys could just maybe mute themselves, we'll be on our way. But I want to thank you all for joining us tonight, and particularly to the ones that are in the United States, because it is Memorial Day weekend, and I know that can be a very emotional time for a lot of people. And our hats and our hearts go out to those that have given their lives to give us our freedom. That's super important to recognize that. So if you've got anyone in your family and you're remembering them today, then bless them, because they really gave the ultimate to give us our peace and our freedom. And that's kind of what we're talking about tonight, in a way, is our freedom and our stories. And we are very glad that you're here tonight, because we want to bring you the inspiration and the motivation that you're going to need to get yourself through the next week. Everybody needs it. So this is your kickstart to get you going for the next week. And thank you very much for coming on board. So if you're new to us, just put your name out in chat and say hi, because we would love to hear from you. And say hi to the rest of the gang that's always in there watching, too. We have some amazing people that show up for us all the time. And just thank you, thank you, thank you. It warms us to see you all come every week like this. And we do this for you, the dreamer, the doer, and the entrepreneur. So let's get into it tonight. And the topic tonight that we're going to talk about is, do you realize that all those stories in your head can make you money? So simple. And tonight we're going to talk to you about that and the strategies behind it, and just it's just going to open up some doors for you to realize how easy it is. Now, I'm going to talk about stories. The rest of the girls are going to talk about different things, but I want to talk to you about the stories that you have in your head, your stories. And you know, if you take your story and you take it at a certain time, at a certain place, to a certain audience, certain people that are listening, that story is so special. It has power like no other story, because there are people out there waiting to hear your story. And I'm not going to say anything tonight about telling stories that you probably haven't already heard. I might say it a little bit different, but I am going to tell you my take on stories. And stories is how we make sense of things that have happened in our life, and also how we imagine what is going to happen in our life. We do that all through stories, whether you realize it or not. So a lot of you don't think you have a story, and this is where I want to touch on. You know, some of the reasons that you may give that you don't think you have a story, or the, let's say it, excuses, is that it might be you grew up. Maybe you grew up in a very small community, 1,000 people or something, and it was very humdrum, very the same every day, and nothing that exciting happened, and you know, you got married and you're still living out there. I don't have anything to give to anybody of where, because where I live. Or maybe you grew up in the city and it was hustle bustle and everything else, but again, it was just Groundhog Day all over again, because you were doing the same thing, rush, 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 rush. And you're just, you know, you did what your parents told you to do. You went on to school, you got a degree, got a job, and you don't have anything different to tell anybody. That could be a reason, but I got news for you. I came from a very small town, very small. I got tons of stories to tell when I realized I had them. But maybe another reason that you think I can't tell my story is because you've got some kind of medical problem going on and you think, I could never be successful. I could never be successful because health won't allow it. Well, here's a news flash for you there, too. It is unbelievable the amount of people that have gotten to huge success that have had major, major, major health issues going on. And I know your family and your friends and your pastor and your co-workers, whatever, are saying to you, just take it easy, take it easy. You know, you don't want to disrupt yourself. But you need to understand that there is zero reason for you not to go out there and be successful. You have the capacity to create success in your life, even if you do have some kind of medical condition. You know, people need to hear that from you if you are going through that. People want to be touched, they want to be inspired, they want to feel it through you. So you will make them feel good, and at the same time you will make yourself feel good telling a story. It works every single time. Talk about it. So maybe, here's another good one. Maybe you had a really bad childhood. Okay? I can't talk about it. I had a really bad childhood. I'd be hard-pressed to find any big earner right now, any of the top earners, that never had a bad childhood. So I'm going to call so what on that. You cannot let that stop you. I could sit here and I could tell you horror stories about the way that I grew up and some of the things that went on behind my closed doors. But have I let that affect my success and my drive to go on? No, absolutely not. I have not let that stop me. So if you had a tough time in your life, I am about to say something to you right now that I don't do it to hurt you. Please don't ever think that I say anything to hurt you. I'm just being real and I'm being raw. If you have had a tough time in your life, it is your responsibility to get out there and be successful, because you need to break the chain. It's so easy to sit back and say, I cannot do it because something went wrong way back in my childhood. No, you owe it to yourself to get out there and be successful, to show the world and to show yourself that you can do this. You have no option. You have to go out and inspire others that are possibly going through the same thing as you went through. So if you had tough, welcome to the journey, because that's all it's all about. And you know, when I think about how your story can affect people, I look at it and I think, you know, there are people in South America that can relate to my story, but they might relate to your story. Or maybe there's vets that are in Mississippi that will hear your story and they'll go, I can't believe they pulled themselves that. They have inspired me. Or maybe there's that single mom out there that is going, they heard your story and go, you know what? If she can do it, I can do it. So maybe you're thinking, all right, I can't do it. Given you, you know, the demographics where you live, I've given you the medical, I've given you a rough childhood, and here's another one for you. I don't have the education. I wouldn't even know where to begin. I wouldn't even know where to start. Well, guess what? I didn't finish high school on time either. And I didn't go on to college. And I can say I'm proud of that. I'm okay. So you can create any kind of success despite whatever happened in your past, even if back to when you were a little child. You cannot make the excuses. It can all be changed. The story can be rewritten. When I first got into the business that I'm in right now, and the rest of the girls on the panel, which is Empower Network, I remember I was told, I said, I don't know what I'm going to blog about, blog. And I remember I was told, tell your story. Just go out there and tell your story. And I thought, I do not have a story. Like, how can I tell a story of, because you should be doing this, because I don't have a story to tell. And I started to think about it then, and when I looked at my life, I sat down and I knew when I had hit rock bottom, and it had been a just a short period of time before I got into Empower Network. And the night that I really hit rock bottom, I mean, I was all alone, and it was late at night, and there was nobody else around. Sam was on the road, and I couldn't stop crying. And I literally had my hands on my head, and I was thinking, how did I let my life get to this stage? How can I feel this unhappy about things? I have everything. I have a beautiful home. I have a husband that loves me, and I am myself. And I thought, I have failed at so many things in my businesses along the way. I was always a failure. I had no success. And I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know what I was going to do with myself. And I couldn't have felt any more unworthy if I had. And made a decision that night, and I thought, I'm going to quit my job, because at that point in time I was blaming everything on my job. It had to be that, the unappreciative boss, the hours I was working. I hated my life. And I thought, by leaving my, I feel good about myself. But the truth is, I still felt unfulfilled because I wasn't sharing who I really was. I wasn't my real story. I didn't know my real message. And I certainly didn't know how to market it to anybody. And I wanted to market it in a true and a very authentic way so that it could help others. But because I wasn't to do that, I wasn't living my life. I wasn't living my vision, and I wasn't living my dreams. So when I got into Empower Network, and they said to me, you need to tell your story. There is someone out there that needs to hear it. I did. As hard as it was to face it, I sat down and I wrote it out. I wrote out all the bad. I had some good points in my life too. But I needed to tell people that I was able to slowly climb out of the pit. And I can tell you right now that by telling my story, it has been the biggest attractor factor to my business. By telling my story. That's all I can say. It was just a story that I blogged about. But it was a true story. So I guess in closing, what I want to say to you is, I really want you to believe in yourself. I want you to take every ounce of what you've got going inside of yourself and know that your story matters. It matters so much. Whether you don't even think it matters. Believe it. You're meant for greatness. You're a giant. You can help others. You can inspire others. You were put here to impact others. And all you got to do is tell people your story. I love what Wayne Dyer says. He says, don't die with the music inside of you. And I don't want you to do that either. I want to hear you sing. I want to hear you sing it loud and clear. And if you're out there and you're thinking and you've listened to me and you think, you know what, I know I've got something to say, I just don't know how to say it, where to say it, or anything else, get in touch with me, because I will help you. I will help you tell your story. And the platform we have here to tell it on is amazing. And you'll be shocked at how many people you can actually help. So I'm going to leave it at that, because I just wanted to talk about the greatest importance of realizing that you've got a story, whether you think that you don't have a story or not, you do. All those excuses named, put them aside, because it just doesn't cut it. So anyways, We want to hear your story. You can rewrite the end of your story and get on here. Like, that's the other thing. As unworthy as I was feeling 2 years ago, look at this. I'm leading this panel here tonight. I mean, who would have thought? And my story did that. So get out there and start yelling it and get a hold of us and we can help you tell it. So anyways, I'm going to move on, or I could just go on all night repeating myself. So I would really, at this point in time, I'm going to ask Shirley to come out. She's going to tell you a little bit about the 5 steps on how to do something like this. So take it away, Shirley, okay?
Thanks, Nettie. And I actually took it in a completely different direction. But I just want to first touch on what you said. And the thing is, guys, when you really clue in how important your story is to some people that are out there that are waiting to hear it, you will put your ego aside and you will start being obedient to your calling. Being obedient, like Nettie says, meaning, some days when you're crying, you shoot a video. Some days when your hair's all messed up but you feel inspired about something, you shoot a video or you do a blog post. Because when you're obedient to your calling, you'll say your story and the right people will hear it. So I'm just going to share with you some stuff about niche blogging, because at the end of the description that we had for the hangout tonight, we said that when told to the right people, you can make money by writing down the stories in your head, and this is called niche blogging or niche marketing. So I want to open with a question for you all tonight. What is it, how is it that you want to feel every day in your business? And I'm not just saying generically, do you want to feel happy? Do you want to feel inspired? Do you want to feel at peace? I'm saying, how do you want to feel when you are in the midst of creating your business and your life? Do you want to get hundreds of thousands of views on your stuff and no clicks? Do you want to buy tons of solo ads and get tons of clicks but your leads don't open the emails? Would you rather have less people looking at your stuff and more people engaging? Do you want to look good but be broke? Because I know a lot of people who are doing that. Or do you want to start small? Do you want to build a tiny foundation, a strong foundation? Do you want to build a small following that as you're getting more and more followers and more engagement, the sales that you're getting are also increasing, right? This is the answer to niche. How do you say that word? Niche? Niche marketing. So I've detailed a little process that I use every time that I create a Facebook ad or a sales funnel, and this can work for blogging as well. So the 5 steps, and this is when you're really thinking about who's going to be on the other side of your screen, okay? That's what it's all about. So the first thing that I start with is, what do I like? What subjects interest me? What do I like talking about? What is it? So I'm going to use 2 examples for this process. One is, I love distressed furniture, and I like bulldogs, okay? So the second thing, okay, so now that you've got that, you know what your interests are, you write 2 down. You should do that right now so you can follow along with me, okay? So the second thing is, where do people that like the same stuff I do hang out online? Is there bulldog magazines? Is there distressed furniture groups? What is it? I mean, I know for just off the top of my head right now, and I've done no research on this at all, I know that Pinterest is really hot for distressed furniture. If you see distressed furniture on Pinterest, you're going to see thousands and thousands of repins and blogs and everything. It's blowing up with that, okay? So that's one platform where these people are. All right, so the third thing, what kind of problems do I have with this topic? And do enough other people have the same problems? So the problem with distressed furniture, with having an interest or a hobby, is it's very expensive to buy, and if you actually create it yourself, it's very time consuming. Okay, and with bulldogs, the problem is they're super expensive dogs to buy and also to maintain. They have a lot of health problems for some reason. And they also need a lot of time with their owners, right? I mean, every pet does, right? So those are the problems, and there's way more. I'm just listing some off the top of my head. So number 4, the question to ask myself when creating this process is, how can I wrap a solution to this problem that people are having around my offer? So here's what it is, right? If my offer can help people make more money and have more time, I can solve their problem. And you all know with what we do, we can do that. We can all do that for people, okay? So then the last thing that I do, number 5, is I create an offer, which is free. And an offer can be anything from an ebook to a free PDF to a 2-minute video to a free 10-minute Skype chat. Whatever that you can think of is free that would give people value, that would solve their problems, do that. So again, I'll repeat number 5, create an offer to build trust and rapport, and then bridge to your business, which in our case is Klaatu, right? So I'm just going to give you some examples of how I would do that using the distressed furniture example and using the bulldog example. So I could do 23 activities. 23 ways to train your bulldog, or to potty train your bulldog, right? Or 13 ways to distress furniture that can only cost you pennies. Or how to train your bulldog in 3 easy steps. Okay, I messed up that one. But you get the point, right? These are things that people want to know about these topics, and when you can give them that and over-deliver, they immediately trust you. And it's way easier to bridge to, making money online or to whatever it is that you're selling. So again, with this process, I'll repeat it. I'll go over it again because I can go on a little fast. But this process, it makes you relatable. And when you can relate to people, you can influence behavior, right? Why would you be telling your story? Why would you be trying to talk about stuff, bulldogs and distressed furniture, to people who are not even remotely interested in that? That's what happens when you buy a solo ad for 1,000 clicks and you get no sales. It's because you are talking about something that people have no interest in, right? It takes an art to find the people who are going to be interested in what it is you have to offer and bridge them to your opportunity. And that's how you can get away with, the industry standard, I think, is if you buy 1,000 clicks in a solo ad, you might get 1 or 2 sales. That's kind of the industry standard. But if you're doing niche blogging or marketing, you can have as little as 100 people or 50 people or even 10 people and get 2, 3, 4 signups after they go through your freebie offer that you gave that gave them so much value, right? So I just want to close out with some, I did promise I would read over the things again, so I'm going to do that real quick, and I want to add some thoughts at the end. Number 1, what do I like? What subjects interest me? Okay. Number 2, where do people that like the same stuff I do, where do they hang out? Online. What social media platforms do they hang out? Number 4, Number 3, what kind of problems do I have with this topic, with this subject? And do enough other people have the same problems? Number 4, how can I wrap a solution to that problem around my offer? Sorry, I meant to say around my business opportunity. And number 5, how can I create something for free to give to build trust and rapport and then bridge to my business opportunity? So that's kind of the process that I use. And The thing is, if you guys get obsessed with your ideas of helping people and you get to know your target market online, you will make this work. Because for every 2 or 3 or 4 ideas that you have, one is going to be a winner. It just is going to take you taking the time to actually take some action and make it happen. I just want to close out with one more thing. I'm reading a book called The 10X Rule by Grant Cardone, and I'm like halfway through it, and I just want to close with this, that in anything that you do, you've got to fall in love with the research. You've got to fall in love with playing around and learning more, because when you can 10x your life and 10x your production, you have no competition, because there's no one else that's doing that. So I'm going to close out with that. If you guys ever want to get the book, it's called The 10X Rule by Grant Cardone, and I know it talks about nothing that I've just talked about, but it is a really great book on if you're looking to take your action taking to the next level. If you're looking to take niche blogging, if you're anything in your life, if you want to take it to the next level, you need to read this book. And it's just going to help you run with all your ideas and make stuff happen. So over to you again, Nettie.
Thanks, Julie May. That was very insightful. And you talked about Pinterest, and I'm like a big doofus about Pinterest, but I know a lot of other people are on it, and it's their Bible. They look at it every day, and just to capitalize on something you said there about, I think you talked about dogs or training your bulldog, or that you can have a story about yourself as to how you fell in love with bulldogs, and maybe along the way there was a special bulldog that passed away or something, but it was very important to your family, and then that leads you into how you got into your business and how you're just enamored with it. So this is how stories work, okay?
I just want to say real quick, sorry to interrupt before you hand it over, to let you guys know that we don't all just have to blog about making money online and marketing, because with Kalatu, we now have 3 other blog things, right? 3 other blog platforms that you can pick an idea that you're interested in and run with it and build a whole blog around it and do this. That's the kind of option that we have here with Kalatu. So I'm just going to hand it back over to you, Nettie. I just want to let people know about that.
Okay, great. Okay, I'm going to move right along now, and I think Zen, are you asleep or are you with us over there?
No, I'm totally here. I'm just writing down. I'm just writing down notes because, I think we all kind of know what my niche is, and I love law of attraction, and I love what makes people tick. And I started thinking about that because I'm still a part-time hypnotherapist. I see 2 or 3 clients a week, and I totally love it. But I'm online, and that's what I do. So my niche is people and what makes them tick. And I started to, based on seeing your swipe copy, I went, you know what? Where is my point of origin with all that? I mean, people have always fascinated me, but I went back to what's my story, because I think you all know that I've been a little reluctant to reveal stories because I wonder what parts are relevant and what parts do I want to just leave in my past. But I just want to share with you some of the points that I struggled with, and now to me they are just stories, and I would love to help people turn their stuff into just a story, because when you remove the thoughts and negative emotions that go with a story, you can shift your life. Not that things don't come up anymore, but you can shift that. So I wanted to give you a little bit of point of origin. I think I told the story about how I was an overweight kid. So that, at the time, it's a little bit devastating. You're stuck in it, and you have to figure your way out and deal with everything that goes on around you. That, first of all, you're overeating for a reason, usually emotional reasons, and part of that was being raised in this Italian family of mine where the volatility, this was my normal though. So there was a lot of, volatility, and I have an older sister with mental health issues. There, I said it. Now there's, what, 100 people online, and there I said it. And it's a story for me now. But there was a point in time where I actually hid the fact that I had another sister because I couldn't handle hearing questions about her. I just couldn't address it. I couldn't do it because I didn't know how to explain her. She was undiagnosed. She was on different meds from time to time. She was volatile. She was borderline personality. She was schizoid. She was crazy and behaved that way. And it was really hard to grow up with. And for a long span of time, my other sister and I were not very close, but not because we didn't love each other. It was because, and I'm thinking about it today because it's Memorial Day, it's like being in the trenches in World War II and watching shrapnel flying around and then seeing each other years later. There's some of that, pardon my French, but shit shrapnel that just is part of your atmosphere that you know no one else experienced it quite the way that you did. And that's why my other sister and I weren't close for years. We were. I mean, I always loved her. We'd get on the phone every couple of months and have a long conversation, but that was our reason for not really wanting to do it more often because it was devastating. It was crazy. And the only person who could relate to the type of crazy that we had was this other sister. But now, see, I can tell that story, and it's not unemotional to me. It's just that that struggle is over. We know how to handle it now. I talk about her now. In fact, I talk to her on the phone. It's been incorporated into my life. It's been integrated in a way that I can handle, and she can handle, and everybody can handle. So I can talk about her now. And it's okay with me. But for years, this was not okay with me at all. And so I wondered, how did she get that way? And so I was always delving into the subconscious mind and mental health, and it led me to other things. And then I had a few other devastating things happen. I had a very good friend in my neighborhood die when I was 18. I mean, he just got stomach cancer, and then it went to his brain, and he died within a year and a half. And I was just in shock for another year and a half. And then I didn't know what to do with that. What do you do with that? And so I just didn't talk about it. And then flash forward, and 15 years ago, my best friend died. And so we all have people who pass away, but it's, how do you handle these things and manage to talk about them later? Because I struggled with that, and I still struggle with that one a bit, both of them, because they were so young. But it's the story in your mind, and you have to figure out how to handle these things. And that's why the subconscious law of attraction, it's what you think about that matters so much. And for me, those two friends, along with my own father, they stay alive for me. They're not gone for me. They have shifted energy. And so any of the struggles that come up when I think about how young they were or that kind of thing, for whatever the reasons are, the mysteries of the universe took them this path. And I have to accept that, regardless of how I feel in certain moments. And I have learned how to harness that in, because I know that when a thought enters your head, if you are in a state of mindful awareness, you can address it right then and there. And you have two choices, two roads. You can go down the road of survival and this struggle, this I can't handle it, this this devastated rap that you give yourself, and it is a story that you tell yourself. Or you can go down the other road where you start thinking about all the warm memories that you had with these people. You don't have to think about their ending days. And I go there 90% of the time. But I'm a human, so 10% of the time, I wonder why they were taken or all that kind of stuff. So these stories, they shape you. And so I'm very interested in the subconscious mind, as you all know, and what makes us tick. And so when I look at other people, I wonder how I can help them shift their inner self-talk loop, because I know what that loop is about. It's almost everybody out there who knows what a cassette is, or better yet, an 8-track player. Those things, you slapped it in your car. When I was a teenager, this is what we had. You slapped it in your car, and when it got to the end of the last song, it went right back to the first, and it played it over and over and over again until you popped it out. And that is how your mind works, my friends. And so if you don't interrupt on song number 2, it will go to song number 3, and it will continue that loop on and on and on. So you have to do an interrupt of your own pattern. Do I smell popcorn? Yeah. You have to do that and shift your own thought patterns about the story that you're telling yourself. So just like my friend who left this world he was 20, I was 18, but it was interesting because at the time he was a guy that lived in our neighborhood, and he was kind of ostracized for some reason when he was young. And I happened to be walking by his house, and I said, "How come you never come down the street and hang out with us?" And he said, "Well, I'm not accepted there." And I said, "Said who?" And he said, "Well, I just don't feel comfortable with that." And I said, "Well, why not?" And he said, "Well, I'm an only child. I live just out of the neighborhood." He had all these reasons. And I said, "Just come down tonight." And when he came down that night, I introduced him around. Everybody said, "We know Paul." And Paul just started coming down every night. And that was that. Paul was part of our gang. He was one of our dudes. And it was awesome. And then he got sick. And then it got bad. And then he passed away. And I wonder, to this day, what was his path? And part of it was to teach us to invite other people into our group. And part of that just tells me that people have it in their heart to tell their story, and tell a good one about where they've been, what struggles they've had, and where they're going now, and not stay stuck in a sound loop that isn't good. Because when I think back about Paul, even when I remember his ending days, he always had a great attitude, and he was always fun, and he always called on a Friday night, even when he was sick in the hospital, and said, "Hey, you want to go out with me tonight?" Because it was a joke in the neighborhood. I was his first choice, my friend Kim was his second choice, and there was another girl that he would call third. And all 3 of us would say no, because they were not our boyfriends, they were our boys in the neighborhood. It was really funny. So I'm just going to end right there, because I think we all know that my story is, the niche is people who want to work with their subconscious mind and tell a better story, create a new story that feels awesome about success and themselves. And I'm going to wrap right there. Thanks, Nettie.
Amazing, Zen. Amazing. And I just want to point out to all of you that are watching, if you saw what Zen did, she was as real and as raw as Zen can be, but she told a story. And there's not a doubt in my mind she hasn't touched some of you out there with that story. She touched herself. She made herself feel better. I'll guarantee you she did. Didn't you, Zen? And, you know, she's made somebody else feel better. And that's what it's all about, telling stories about things in life. I mean, how a young man affected you when you were 18 years old that passed away. And here she is, how many years later, telling a group of people from around the world that story. Isn't that touching? I mean, it's amazing the way it works. It just is. So I'm going to move right along now to Morgan so that she can add what she wants to this too, okay?
Thanks, Nettie. I am just absolutely blown away by how we've each taken this topic and just done something completely different. It's so amazing how we can just all come from different angles. It just shows, you know, everybody's so different, and I've done a completely different thing as well. It's kind of similar to Shirley in a way, and when Shirley was speaking I was thinking, oh my god, she's taking everything I want to say. But what I want to talk about is, how do you actually make money from your passions? So I've sort of taken the literal approach with this topic about niche blogging, and how you can actually create a blog, a home on the internet for yourself that's about a specific topic that isn't internet marketing or make money online or you know, marketing or blogging or something like that, but a different passion. How do you take that passion, like mountain biking or rowing or horse riding, and how do you monetize that? So I just wanted to share with you somebody else's blog that I just looked up before. It's got a really, really awesome blog, and it just explains niche blogging. It explains, it's actually the top, it's www.sparringmind, so SPARRING mind.com /successful blogs. So it's 50. If you look at that site, it's got 50 niche blogs, and you'll see what I mean. It's got blogs about hiking. It's got blogs about, I don't know, every swimming, every single area you can think of, and it just gives you an idea of how you can actually take something that you love, and if you put enough energy, passion, and effort, because it doesn't come overnight, these blogs are they're first class. They are just, and this person that has done this blog, if you look on the website, they're just ordinary people. They don't have a degree in blogging. They're not professional writers. They have just got a blogging platform. They've probably been blogging for a couple of years. They've picked a topic, and they have made the topic their own. This is it's their passion, it's their world, it's what they spend their time on, they put their energy in. And if you look at some of those blogs, some of them have like 60,000 subscribers, 80,000 subscribers, 50,000 subscribers. And it's when you get to that stage that you can really monetize the blog. And I'll go on to that monetizing part first. But what I want to do just quickly is just run through, I hope I don't repeat what Shirley said, but I just want to run through a couple of steps to figure out what to actually blog about. So I'm talking about blogging about something that's not perhaps industry. So what I want to sort of get your head around today is the fact that you can actually pick something completely random. Like for me, I was actually thinking about doing a twins blog, because here on Kalatu we have, so most people that are watching this will know you pay $25 a month for Kalatu and you get 3 blogging platforms. So you can actually have 3 individual blogs, which is so awesome. It's a WordPress blog, it's got opt-in simple, it's got completely customizable, which is just, amazing. And because everybody is blogging on the same platform, getting ranked is just probably the easiest thing you can do once you learn a few, simple SEO tricks. So just what I would do first, is I would make a list of all the things you love. And it doesn't have to be something you know anything about. It can just be something you love. So for me, I actually like Sarok dancing. Nobody knows that, but I would probably write Sarok dancing on my list. I'd probably write my twins on my list, because I think that would be quite a good topic to blog about. I like horse riding. I'd probably write horse riding on there. And I like netball. I used to play netball. So I'd probably write those 4 things down. There's probably more things, but just to give you an idea. And then I want you to pick 3 of those ideas. So just pick 3, because if you've got 15 on your list, it's just going to take way too long. So pick 3. And then you go onto Google and you just do a little bit of research. So find out what would be an appropriate blog. So if you've got something like you love, house tiles, it might not be the best thing to blog about, because although you might have this love of house tiles or carpet or something like that, there's only so much you can go. So go onto Google, Google the word, see if other people are blogging about it. Go onto Facebook, see if there's any Facebook groups about it. Just do a little bit of research. Once you decide on your one topic, then you need to, so pick the one topic out of the 3 that you think would be, the most awesome. Then what you need to do, if you really want to be really, really successful at creating this one hub, this niche blog about horse riding or whatever you have decided, you need to create passion and desire for that topic. You need to be the expert in that topic. You need to live, breathe, and research and just fall in love with it. And hopefully it's not hard, because you've already got this underlying love for it, and that's why you've picked the thing that you've picked. But it's not enough. Niche blogging is quite competitive, and it does take a while to get there, to actually get ranked and to build up a following. And I'm not saying that to discourage you, but it is a reasonable amount of work to get to that stage. So you need to love it. You have to create that desire. And I was just, when I was kind of deciding what I was going to say tonight, I thought, how can I talk about desire? People are going to think, well, how do you create desire? So I've been reading, Think and Grow Rich, and a lot of you probably would have read that book. And there's actually, if you've got that book, it's on page 36. It gives you 6 steps to actually learn how to create desire for something. So you can pick anything, and you can actually create a desire within your mind to actually desire that more than you would if you didn't put in that effort. So that would be one of my steps. I would create an immense desire and love and passion for this one thing. Then what I would do is I'd blog probably 3 times a week. If you can blog every day, that's awesome, but you want to do quality stuff. You want to do blogs that are like 2,000 words. And that might sound like a lot, but I use an app called, and I've said about this before, I use an app called Dragon Dictation, and you can actually dictate something in 10-15 minutes. So if you want to learn more about that, let me know. But do about 2,000 words. You want to research and learn something and then teach it to your market. Okay, so that's where that goes, about 3 times a week. And then you want to get the word out there. You can't just leave your blog on the internet. You've got to, go into maybe LinkedIn groups, go into Facebook groups, share. If you're doing about how to do, organic cooking, could be your blog about organic cooking. You want to find other Facebook groups. You want to join up to them, and you want to, post your content in there so you can get followers. Another thing you could do is actually create your own Facebook group, organic cooking lovers or something like that. And people will come in, and then you can share your content. You can discuss ideas, and your blog's just going to grow and grow and grow. So that is how you sort of get into the niche blogging scene. The next part of it, which I'm going to do really quickly because I know that I've taken probably too much time already, is you have to monetize that blog. And that's where you need to know a little bit about that. So that's where sort of internet marketing comes in. So you've built up this following, and you don't even need to start monetizing it straight away. Just do it as a passion. Start doing it just for the love of it, and then the monetizing can come later. In 6 months, start to monetize it. And how do you monetize it? You've got banners on the side of your blog, and that's when you can sell things. So if you're doing organic cooking, you might subscribe to something that sells organic grains, and you might be able to sell them on your blog. And if you're getting 20,000 people a month to your blog, you're probably going to sell a couple of bags of grain. It's just how it works. Other things you can do is you can have like a high converting offer, like what we have here in Empower Network and iPass. So we do blogging. This is what I'm telling you to do, is exactly what we do. Some people blog about marketing and internet marketing and marketing training, which is what I do. But you can actually blog about anything. And it's the monetizing that's the bit that makes you the money. So banners is one way to do it, just a random offer. Another way to do it is belong to a company like Empower Network, where you've got a high converting offer. We sell products on our back end, so when people come to our blogs, they opt in, and we can build relationships, and we can sell them high-end products, and that comes through our blogging. So that is something you can look into if you decide to make a niche blog. It doesn't matter if you're selling if your blog's about organic flour or organic cooking, you can still sell something, make money online related, if you build that relationship, because people aren't going to click on your banner that says make money online if they're not interested in that. So it does work that way anyway. So banners, high converting offer, and you basically just that's pretty much it. So you build your blog, and then you have a high converting offer or some kind of a banner on the side. And you obviously need your email follow-up if you're doing some kind of internet marketing, that kind of way. So I'm going to leave it there for today, guys. But I really enjoyed talking to you, and I'll hand it back to Nettie.
Thanks, Morgan. I think you covered a lot there. But that's good. That's what we needed to hear. Everybody out there needed to hear. And you went with the stories and being expert at it. Okay, you needed to get in there with passion, and then you told them how they could blog with it and monetize it. Excellent, excellent, because they all go hand in hand in hand. There is a career to be made out of blogging and monetizing on it. So if you need help finding your niche, this is the group to help you find that. So, but anyways, for now, I'm going to move right on to Erica. So go ahead, Missy.
Well, firstly, good evening, everyone. My goodness, what a bonanza of value that we've had tonight. There is very little left to cover, and I love that. I love that. It means that all of the points have been covered beautifully. Blogging is, man, some people, they hear the word blogging and they just literally freeze up in fear. It's like, what am I going to blog about? And I love what Zen was talking about, because she did talk about, sharing stories, and she shared about overcoming struggles. And this is something that's really, really important that I think a lot of people miss. They miss the fact that their struggle was sent to them for a reason. And 9 times out of 10, the reason has something to do with sharing with others how they overcame that struggle. You know, we have this, you know, kind of expression in our industry that don't share the struggle until you've overcome the struggle, because whilst you're in the middle of the struggle, you can't really help anyone because you're so busy just trying to help yourself. But once you've overcome the struggle, well, then it kind of becomes your responsibility to share how you overcame that struggle when you're ready, right? And that's really, really powerful. And I'm so glad that Morgan brought home, you know, the real power of finding your niche. You know, they say the riches are in the niches. And I'm from New Zealand, so I always used to say niche, right? But when you start speaking to Americans, well, the riches in the niches, it just doesn't rhyme, right? So the riches are in the niches. If you can, you know, really drill down onto your one core passion and blog from your heart about that, that's where the riches come. Okay, so the riches are in the niches. But I want to speak just really, really quickly to those of you, kind of wrapping back to where Nettie started. For those of you who don't think you have a story, you know, I cut a video on this the other day, and I'm going to share a little bit from a very favorite book of mine. And I want you to really hear these words, because when you hear these words, you will realize that your story was given to you for a reason, right? This is my favorite book of all time. It's called The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. And I cut a little video on this the other day, and I think it's really, really important to repeat it here. We all have a specific gift. We all have something within us that was given specifically to us. And it is our duty and responsibility to look for that gift and then share that gift. In the 7th spiritual law, he talks about, this is Deepak Chopra, he talks about the law of Dharma. And basically, Dharma is your life's purpose. And believe it or not, you have one. Believe it or not, you have one. But here's the thing, it's your responsibility to find it. You've been given a gift, but it's kind of hiding somewhere, right? And this is where personal development comes in. When you start reading, you start opening your mind, you start finding your gift. And when you found your gift, what more beautiful place could you share it on than your blog, right? So I just want to read this little component out. There are 3 components to the law of Dharma, and I want to talk about the second one. The second component of the law of Dharma is to express our unique talents. The law of Dharma says that every human being has a unique talent. You have a talent that is unique in its expression, so unique that there's no one else alive on this planet that has that talent or that expression of that talent. This means that there's one thing you can do and one way of doing it that is better than anyone else on the entire planet. When you're doing that one thing, you lose track of time. When you're expressing that one unique talent that you possess, or more than one unique talent in many cases, the expression of that talent takes you into a timeless awareness. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people think, well, why would someone listen to me? Here's the answer. Because you can say the same thing that someone else can say in a completely unique way that one person on this planet needs to hear it at that specific point in time, right? All of us on the panel can say the exact same message, but there are some of you watching that are going to relate to one of us for a different reason, because we are all unique. So therefore, our way of expressing ourselves is unique to the specific person that needs to hear our message. So some people go, well, why would I start a blog? There are like thousands of blogs out there. Well, because no one can share your message exactly the way you can. Oh, but how will I build a following? Well, because you have a unique talent, your unique viewers will come to you. You will attract them. See, when you believe in the law of abundance, you believe that there's plenty of viewers and plenty of subscribers for everybody, right? But it starts with you. It starts with you, A, believing you have a story. It starts with you, B, sharing your story in your unique way. And C, it starts with you having confidence that your story matters and that you were sent here to fulfill a purpose. And when you start blogging about whatever it is that makes your heart sing, I promise you, your content will take on a life of its own. Now, for me, personally, when it comes to my blog came out of my own personal struggle with this specific industry. So on my blog, you're not going to find, you know, a lot of my life story. You're not going to find, my core passions or anything like that. You're going to find training. Why? because in the beginning of my introduction to this industry, I struggled because there was no one specifically around to give me the training I needed to get started. So I overcame that struggle and said, wow, well, if anyone ever comes my way, I'm going to make sure they don't struggle with A, B, C, D, and E. So when you go to my blog, my niche is training, right? Your niche, as Shirley mentioned, could be bulldogs. Your niche could be restoration. You know, we've got some people in our group who love restoration. No, she was talking about distressed furniture. That could be your niche blog. Whatever it is you are passionate about, that becomes your niche. Okay? So my final comment, because we're coming up to the top of the hour, the riches are in the niches. Okay? When you market to everybody, you market to nobody. So drill down on your niche. Drill down. And then nail that sucker and send it home, right? And that's what Kalato allows you to do. It allows you to hit a home run, darlings. When you drill down and you find your core passion, what you just, you know, when you're daydreaming, you're looking out the window and you're thinking about stuff, your niche is in there. Your core passion is in there. When you dream, when you just, you know, get distracted, wherever your mind goes, that's your core passion. So, darlings, I'm going to leave you on that note. It is the top of the hour. Thank you so much for being with us once again. It's so wonderful to see you all in the chat roll. And we'll see you next week. Mwah! Back to you, Nettie.
Thank you, Missy. And again, I want to point out to all of you out there, although Erica said that her blog is about training, and it is. I mean, but where did she get that from? Where did she get that niche from? She got it from her story of struggle. And that's what, but when you tell a story, you are telling people what they need to hear about a struggle, and then you're also giving them the resolution to it. And that's what, in turn, what she's done. You know, she may blog about training, which can be boring to somebody else. And I'm not saying your blog is boring, you know, but it can be. But yet her whole story of how she came up with this is amazing. It's incredible. It's just captivating. And people have proven it time and time again because they're drawn to Erica. They just are. So, I mean, it's amazing how that intertwines, you know. As a story always leads to helping somebody else. It always does. Doesn't matter, you know. So, what you're talking about. But anyways, I hope we've helped you tonight. I think one thing that, you know, we did touch lightly on, but I want to drive it home too, is that there always has to be some value in whatever story you're telling. And it could be simple value. It doesn't have to be long, drawn-out encyclopedia type value. Just one little sentence can change it all. And that's what I'm going to leave you with it tonight. You know, whatever has gone on in your world, whatever circumstances that you grew up in, whatever great circumstances you had in your life, it is your responsibility to be successful in whatever you set yourself out to do. And there is no better way than attracting people. You're saying, where is my avatar? Who am I looking for? What type of person is in my niche? The type of person that's in your niche is you. The same type of person as you. And they need to hear that story so that they can move to the next level. So on that note, we're going to close it down. Like I said, if any of you out there need some help with storytelling and you're thinking that I'd like to get into this and tell stories, get a hold of us, get a hold of me, get a hold of Erica, Morgan, Ben, Shirley, all of us. We're available. Shirley had to cut out because her electricity went off. But I just want to thank you one more time again for coming tonight. I hope this has helped you get through the week that's coming up. It's going to be a powerful, a strong one. Knock it out of the park. Do what you have to do to be successful. And guess what? We're going to be here next week again just to go over everything that you need to go over to get your business successful. So, love you all. If you're thinking of joining us, click the link below, get started, or get back to one of us. But in the meantime, we will see you same place, same time, different subject next week. Take care. Bye-bye. Take care.